Our next guest, speaking about lovely country areas, is arguably the most powerful figure in the Greenie movement in Australia today. He's used to battling to get his message across, but in the next couple of weeks, I would suggest, he faces the fight of his life. Please welcome from Tasmania, Dr. Bob Brown. Part of my past has just been revisited on me from the audience.
Oh, was it good?
Oh, yes, it was. It was all good and lovely memories. And I guess that's what you're aiming for in years to come, to look back and have good memories on the fight that you've put in to try to save this earth of ours.
Well, I already have tremendous memories, but we're looking to the future because there's so much to be done. The world is in such a state right around the planet, not just in this country, but we're in a lucky, secure, safe country where we can really do things which other people fighting for the Amazon or for the Africans' veldt, the animals disappearing, can't do because they're not in such democratic, free or rich conditions as we are here.
When you started out with your cry, to me it seemed to be pretty much a cry in the wilderness, with no pun intended. But now, all of a sudden, not only in Australia but around the world, not only is the result of your plea, but people are listening to the sound of the same drum, aren't they?
Well, they are, because the message is coming through so thick and fast on programs like yours, on our television at night, on our news magazines. The world's being polluted and destroyed at a catastrophic rate. And we, the rich countries, 20% of us, are using 80% of the world's resources. And we've got to slow up and we've got to think about the next generation, and we've got to think of the one after that and the one after that, because everybody wants their children and their children's children to have a secure, happy, beautiful world. And we know we've gone the wrong track, but the feedback's coming very, very rapidly and people are changing. The people in Tasmania have just voted for a change. People in Australia are changing the way that politicians work, the way that corporations and unions have worked in the past.
Well, what's the status quo in Tasmania at the moment, and what will it be in the next couple of weeks?
Well, we've had an election, and following the election, the Green Independents, the five of us, talked with the leader of both parties to make the best accommodation we could for the future, particularly with concern for the environment and for social justice and so on. Mr Gray walked out on those talks, the former Premier, and we've now made an accord with the Labor Party to have them form the next government, and we'll be there keeping them tight on those promises for the future. Mr Gray has advised the Governor that he should continue on as the Minority Premier until the Parliament meets on June the 28th. There's a lot of anxiety in Tasmania that Mr Gray has done the wrong thing in doing that, because he no longer has the majority, and he'll continue with more Wesley Vale pulp mills, more bulldozers into the forests and so on. But the people are behind us. It's exciting times in Tasmania. We've got a fantastic lifestyle. We've got a wonderful island there. It's a friendly place, and it's got a long way to go.
Bob, politically, is there a problem down there looming? Could we have another 1975 on our hands?
Well, you can't ever tell. We feel secure that the people, having voted for the independents and the Labor Party and the Liberals as they did, we've now made a compact which is a very exciting, innovative future, and the Premier has done the wrong thing. But now it's up to the Parliament and the Governor, following that, to change that around to ensure that the majority, the 18 people in the Labor Party and the Green Independents, get on with the business of government as they were elected to do.
So what happens? You have to pass a vote of no confidence in the Premier?
Yes, there will be a vote of no confidence in the Premier when Parliament resumes on the 28th. He will have to advise the Governor that, and he has said he would resign at that stage. Then if precedent is kept, the Governor would call in the Leader of the Opposition, Mr Field, say, can you form a government? He will say yes, and at that stage the government should pass across to him, but there is no absolute certainty about the future.
Especially under the system, of course, used in Tasmania, because it's an unusual one, isn't it?
Oh, it's a wonderful one. We've got a tremendously democratic Hare-Clark system where minority groups can get a say in government. Actually, it was at the turn of the century when that system was brought in. It was brought in so that temperance groups could get a say. They were very strong at the time, and here we are 60, 80 years down the line with environmentalists and people who care about the way other people are being treated. The Greens have got 5 seats in Parliament because of this very, very fair system.
Bob, in those early years of the marches and the pleas that you were making to the people of Australia, and also particularly to the political leaders, did you ever fear for your own safety?
Oh, Bert, I've had a few gunshots across the head, and I remember one a night, very dark night in Strahan, looking up and seeing a wheel brace being brought down. But you know, we're got a very short time span on this planet, 60, 80, 100 years if we're lucky, in a very long continuum. There's been thousands of generations of people. We've all come out of the wilderness. We all have got a bond with it now. It's very, very important to us. There are pieces of wilderness here in the studio with us today, on our homes, on the wall. We like nature shows. Our potted plants have ultimately come from wilderness. Half our medicines come from wilderness. And as a doctor, I know it's very important we keep that resource for inspiration, for relaxation and for adventure. So I suppose in public life you have to expect sometimes a threat or two, but the threat to our planet is so overriding, and our opportunity to do away with that threat and have a secure and happy future is so great. Our opportunity here in Australia in particular, because we're in the box seat, I reckon, as far as the planet's concerned, that it's very, very rewarding to be involved in it. And here we are at this critical time in history, all 16 million of us in Australia, able to do something that the future generations will never be able to come back and do. So what a privilege.
Well, I'd like you to meet a fellow Greenie, and indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to make welcome Greg Champion. Greg?